Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news video, we're going to talk about the major star who might be done with WWE after WrestleMania 39. From there, we will talk the WWE legend who has outlined his retirement plans. After that, we will talk Carmella's sudden disappearance from company television, and then we're going to wrap this puppy up on a big update on the ongoing WWE sales process. I'm Andy Murray. Adam Wilborn's not here. He's flying to America for some show. Wrestling Mayhem, Wrestling Mania, I don't know, some nonsense, but we're flying solo today. This is the news. Let's kick this thing off. Highlanders in the background. I would have put Scott McTominay there, but I don't know if we can use those images, so Scotland, good stuff. Anyway, let's kick things off by talking about the major WWE star who could be done with the company after WrestleMania. Who is it? It's Logan Paul. He has effectively said on his Impulsive podcast that his contract is up with the promotion after the big show this weekend. Here's the quote. "My contract ends this WrestleMania. My rookie year is about to be up." Very simple. So, Logan has been active in WWE for a full year now. He debuted in his first match, teaming with The Miz against the Mysterios last year, and was excellent. He has since been even more excellent in his match, particularly with Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel last year, which was pretty sensational for a guy with such limited experience. And I've no doubt that when he meets Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 39 this weekend, it'll be tremendous as well. It's interesting here to note, actually, that Ariel Helwani reported last year that Logan had signed a multi-year deal with WWE. Obviously, this is 1 year that's elapsed here, so something interesting to consider there for sure. But nonetheless, even if this is a 1 year thing and the contract is up, which no reason not to believe him, I guess, although he did recently scam a lot of people, so who knows, maybe we shouldn't take his word at face value. But either way, I think that WWE and Logan Paul's relationship doesn't end here. I think that obviously the matches have been really well received. And he's been a benefit to the company and the quality of their programming and everything else. He's a really easy guy to root against, let's be honest, for all the positives he has between the ropes, of course. So I can't really see why WWE would go, yeah, we're not going to use you again, buddy, off you go. That would be a very surprising outcome indeed. Celebrity matches kind of rule these days. They're kind of awesome across the board. You can't go in there and just have a crappy match, even if you've never wrestled one before. And I think people like Logan Paul and Bad Bunny being involved and staying involved in WWE's creative universe is a positive thing indeed. So stay tuned for more on this. I'm sure the Seth Rollins match will kick all kinds of ass, and you know, you could even do Logan versus Cody after WrestleMania if you wanted to. Who knows? I'm not trying to be chaotic. I just think that would genuinely be really good. Anyway, speaking of really good, Rey Mysterio, he's really good. You know what would be really bad? If he retired. Well, not necessarily if he's happy, but you know. He's kind of outlined his retirement plans in a new interview with the New York Post, and I think this is quite interesting too, because there was that report from WrestleVotes / Give Me Sport that we talked about on the channel last week. The report stating that originally there was talk of Rey retiring at WrestleMania 39, where he faces Dominic this weekend, of course, but that wasn't necessarily the case anymore, even though him and Triple H had kind of talked about it. Now, Rey has said he's not quite ready to retire, but he intends to do so by the time he hits 50 years old. He's 48 right now, which is insane because I feel like I've been watching him wrestle for like 50 years, even though I'm 35. Doesn't add up. But anyway, Rey mentioned when Triple H pulled him aside and said, "Hey buddy, we're putting you in the Hall of Fame this year." Friday night, Rey the headliner. He was like, "Oh, that's amazing, but I don't really want to retire now." Because of course, the Hall of Fame inductions are typically associated with retired or soon to retire wrestlers. There's a good quote here from Rey that I'll just read to you. "I'm still having a hard time digesting it because Hall of Fames are supposed to happen when you retire, when you're getting close to retirement. I don't feel neither of those are close for me, but it's a huge blessing. I think I do have a number and I want to keep it at that, and my number is 50. I'm hoping that at 50, I can go ahead and say it's been an incredible ride and it's time for me to step back now." So going by the Steiner maths on this one, he would have 2 years roughly left in the business, which is pretty amazing. I mean, it's amazing that Rey is still so great at this age after, you know, the style he has wrestled for so long and the punishment he must have taken and the injuries and the wear and tear and all that. But let's be honest. I'm a big believer in giving wrestlers their flowers, or anyone their flowers, while they're still active and while they're still like prominent within their field. And Rey Mysterio is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Let's not beat around the bush here. He's, if you want, how do you want to measure it? How do you want to measure it? Influence, inspiration, being a draw, like breaking ground as like a smaller wrestler in the land of the giants, WWE. Killing it big in the US and Mexico and beyond. The wide-reaching impact this guy's had on so many of the wrestlers you watch today. Match quality, of course, the classics over like his 4 decades or whatever in the wrestling business. By any metric, Rey Mysterio is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. I will be sad when he retires, but happy he can do it on his own terms. So this is sick. Good for Ray. Him and Dominic is going to be big, stupid fun, and I cannot wait for it. Wilborn's not here. He usually makes the noises. I'm not making those excited noises. No, despite this mean mug, that I'm very excited. Anyway, let's talk about Carmella a little bit here. She's kind of vanished from WWE programming at the moment. She'd been in quite a prominent role since returning alongside Chelsea Green on Screen Allies, but she's not wrestled for WWE since the 6th of March, on TV at least. And Chelsea has briefly forged alliances with Piper Niven and Sonya Deville in her absence, keeping that storyline going. Where's Carmella gone? Well, Fightful have come through with an update via Fightful Select, stating that Carmella is currently sidelined from WWE. There's no word on why exactly, but that is her official status. She is sidelined. The outlet has, however, been able to dismiss rumors that this is some kind of backstage heat situation. When they asked sources within the company about it, they called it ridiculous. Dismissed it completely. So no heat on Carmella in WWE. That's good, obviously. It's noted as well that Carmella was due to be in Los Angeles for WrestleMania week, this week, as of yesterday. She was at an MLB game in the city, Major League Baseball, with Bobby Lashley and Io Sky. Dodgers versus Angels. I don't know anything about baseball, but go Padres. Nice jerseys. Go for them. Anyway, yeah, and she has commitments as well this week with Make-A-Wish and Be A Star in her calendar as well. So there you go. In October, of course, tragically, Carmella revealed that she had suffered a miscarriage. Her and Corey Graves have been married since April, and this came during a period where she was off television and stuff. She suffered an ectopic pregnancy leading to that miscarriage. So, yeah, like, she's obviously lived through some pretty horrible times recently, and that was just like a really horrifying thing to learn, of course, and a big challenge for her to live through, and Corey as well, of course. So whatever's going on with Carmella at the moment, hope she's doing well. Hope we see her back on our screen soon. Really enjoyed the Chelsea Green alliance, the two of them together. They work really well. They have like instant chemistry. So hope WWE can pick that up on when she returns. Right, we're going to talk about the WWE sale now. This update is pretty big, and I appreciate that not all of you are interested in the business side of this business. So if you want to move on to the Twitter questions, there's some really good ones today. You know where the timestamps are. Otherwise, I appreciate you sticking around. Anyway, the first update comes from CNBC analyst David Faber, who has claimed, after speaking with sources close to the WWE sale, that things are going quite well and a hot and heavy market has emerged. So people who were previously a bit doubtful about the sales process, according to Faber, are now less so, although there is still some pessimism surrounding Vince McMahon's perceived involvement or his perceived reluctance to step down should a sale take place. Of course, it has been rumored that Vince might look to engineer a sale with a buyer who will keep him on in some kind of role, but that's all speculative, really, and it's not necessarily something that's going to happen. McMahon, of course, returned to WWE's board of directors as executive chairman in January, having stepped down amid allegations of sexual misconduct in July. Faber's educated guess on potential buyers include UFC parent company Endeavor, private equity firms, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, and Liberty Media. But he stated that NBC Universal, who are of course one of WWE's most powerful media partners, are not involved in the process. Now, Fightful Select came through with just a colossal update here. Shout outs to Sean. This is obviously great work on his behalf. Talking about the sale, stating that people within WWE expect business to pick up during April, once WrestleMania is out of the way. In fact, the company considers that the Super Show is heading to Los Angeles this week is a positive strategic situation. It's kind of a nice, convenient thing, isn't it? Like, big advertisement. Hey, buyers, look how awesome our show is in LA, this great city. It's pretty sick. Fightful note as well that rumoured WWE buyers might consider bringing Stephanie McMahon back as a desired return, is their quote. Somebody from Disney here commented, these companies are doing their due diligence, they're following the news cycles regardless of their level of public interest. They're aware of things that would make audiences and staff happy. Stephanie seemed to bring a lot of positives to the company. Stephanie, of course, resigned from WWE in January. Elsewhere, Vince has reportedly claimed to people within WWE that he would be interested in a sale of WWE that doesn't involve him staying on. And he has tried to talk down rumours that he's been involved in creative. People on creative have said they've had no contact with him. He hasn't fed ideas to them or whatever. And Fightful sources are in near unanimous agreement that should McMahon stay with WWE post-sale, that would be seen as a negative in terms of public perception and stock prices and things like that. And yeah, of course it would. The guy is complete trash. The report continues a little bit here. Yeah, talking about that creative stuff. People within WWE, including McMahon himself, apparently realised that him making a full-on return to creative would be a huge blow to talent morale. So there you go, big update on WWE's sales process. Maybe this will be concluded sooner than everyone thinks. Maybe it'll take 5 years, maybe it'll take 5 minutes. Who the heck knows? We will find out soon enough. Twitter questions. Thank you so much for sending them to me today. I did a thread last night. I got like 90 odd replies. Sensational. For tomorrow's video, which I think will be me and Michael Hamflet, check the YouTube community page. That's where the questions will be. That's where we'll be pulling them from. Anyway, the first one comes from Gavin J. Baxter, my very good friend. Check out the ADZ Football Podcast. Yes, this is me biased, picking one of my pals. Anyway, hypothetical scenario. If Punk leaves AEW, do WWE capitalize on his name value / the seemingly impossible scenario of his return, or do you play the long game and aim to bring in Kenny Omega? Of course, there was no guarantee that will happen, but more likely without Punk. So this is a really interesting balancing act. I think this week it has emerged that it's probably impossible for these individuals to emerge, to coexist in the same company, barring a major change in that relationship in particular. So whether it's AEW or WWE, yeah, you're probably not going to see these people under the same roof. From a WWE standpoint, Kenny Omega is more valuable probably from like a match quality perspective. Obviously, he's younger, he's got, he's back, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. There's lots of interesting matches for him. Like, I mean, literally any match on that roster is a fresh one. So it would be exciting on that perspective. But on the Punk side of things, like you mentioned, there is the capitalizing on the seemingly impossible thing of him returning to WWE given the circumstances of his departure. He's also a bigger name. He's a bigger star, perhaps, in wrestling as well. There is a lot of fresh stuff for him in WWE too. Comes with the caveat that it's CM Punk, and generally CM Punk falls out with people. So it would probably be a good time, but not a long time, much like his AEW run. For me, if I'm WWE, I'm pursuing CM Punk. Mainly for that business benefit, that business impact. The merch sales would be through the roof. The buzz would be ridiculous. The buzz would be absurd. And if you can get like a good year out of the bloke without him blowing up and pissing everyone off, I think that's business well done. Yeah, the interest in merch and everything else that he would draw to the company would be obscene. So I'd go with him. And I think that Kenny and the Young Bucks and everyone else are better suited to AEW anyway. I think their style is just better for that audience, better for that show, more appropriate. But this is a great question. We could probably do like a 15-minute video on this. Good stuff. Jeremy D has been on asking, regardless of the outcome at Mania, who do you feel should be the next challenger for the WWE World/Universal Championship? So, I don't know if I've got a universal answer, but I think Cody is winning, straight up. I don't think there's a chance that Roman wins, so let's just go with that, and I think Randy Orton should be his first feud. Assuming Randy's fit and ready to go, which reports have been pretty positive lately, it just makes so much sense. If Cody wins the belts, Randy comes back, you do the whole legacy thing. I made you, I brought you into this company, yada, yada, yada. You wouldn't be here without me. And Randy would do such a good job with that as well, being this manipulative, scheming, snake-like heel. of course, it would be tremendous stuff across the board. The story almost writes itself. They would do a great job bouncing opposite each other. And also, Randy is someone that WWE can beat with minimal consequences because he's a legend in this company and he has incredible amounts of stock. So I think it's the ideal first opponent. It's a big name for Cody to defeat in his first major feud, and I think it'd be sick. But curious to what you guys think about this. Who do you think should be Cody's first opponent or Roman's opponent? Rody, I almost called him. Cool. Post WrestleMania. Throw it down in the comment section. Last question comes from Brennan, who asks, if you had to say right now, FTR staying with AEW or going back to WWE to re-debut with Randy Orton? My sizable gut tells me that FTR are staying in AEW. I'm not 100% confident on this, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went over to WWE. But it feels to be trending in that direction. That being said, it would be a very FTR thing to do. They're very old school to put the younger team, the Guns, over on their way out. Of course, they have that upcoming tag team title match where if FTR lose, they're gone from AEW in storyline, which is a nice way of tying up their real life contractual situation into a storyline. So I think they're sticking around. I think there's money left on the table there for them in AEW. Also, staying with AEW means they have their freedom. They can go to Japan, they can do indies, they can do whatever they want within, you know, to a degree. Going back to WWE, a little more restrictive, but it would be awesome. Like, they've not been there in a long time, obviously. Triple H is a lot friendlier to tag teams and booking them well than his decrepit father-in-law. So that is something to consider indeed. And look, that brief Randy Orton trio was really awesome. They fit really well together on TV, so I'd certainly like to see that. I wouldn't be surprised with either outcome, to be perfectly honest, and I think they're both good, but I think they'll stay in AEW. Anyway, we're going to close on the finally today. We got a sneak peek at the WrestleMania 39 stage, and it's looking pretty cool. So this comes from Reddit user. Look, this is just their username. Hose being hose. Reddit, ladies and gentlemen. Here you go. Here's the stage. It looks really cool. Looks really cool. Obviously, it's still under construction, but you can see the ramp, you can see the stage, there's loads of video screens, you can see the staircase, which gives it like Coliseum vibes. I think it looks pretty sick. Hopefully there's room for Gangrel's flame lift elevator thing to fit in there if he's making an appearance. But yeah, first look at the WrestleMania stage. Pretty cool across the board. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this solo news video this morning. These things aren't easy, so yeah, cheers, appreciate you. You can follow us on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. You can follow me on Twitter at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Hoop46, Hoop Solo. It's kind of appropriate today. And of course, shout outs to the Scottish national team for their sensational triumph last night. Shout outs to Rodri as well. That was, dry those tears, brother. Dry those tears. That was one hell of an interview. Man City suck as well. Bye.